And I thought to myself, if something like this already existed, they would be using it, right? Wrong. It did exist and they were not using it. Finding out my idea behind pro subs was not unique was a bit confusing to me because you see, the idea came to me when I started to notice and wanted to solve some of the problems I saw around me. So let me tell you a personal story. You see, every time I pay for the gym per month, I get a physical copy of the receipt, right? And it causes the problem of going back to renew and not knowing if the gym membership has actually expired because the first and last time I do see that receipt is on the day that I paid, right? But then I flipped the narrative to a gym owner's point of view and I started to wonder how many people are stealing off a day or two or even weeks of their gym membership without renewing, right? And I noticed that this is a problem across different domains, but the common denominator is people who offer services, right? So like event planners, even digital creators and like co-work spaces, personal trainers. And I thought to myself, if something like this already existed, they would be using it, right? Wrong. It did exist and they were not using it. But then I spoke to the gym owner to understand why they were not using it. And it was actually pretty simple. You see, there were two reasons. The first is customer behavior. You see, customers had already been fine-tuned to walking up to the receptionist, paying and getting their physical receipt. And it's very hard to convince those kind of people who have already been fine-tuned to a specific way of doing things to change the narrative to something as fancy as a website, a link, an app. The second thing was the gym staff. I found that the gym staff were not easily trainable. They struggled with something as basic as Excel. And so when I was building, I started to build with these things in mind, right? I built very simple interfaces for customers to use as well as the gym staff to use, right? Now, the point of this video is that understanding the problem you're trying to solve is bigger than anything else, I think. And not just the surface presentable fancy problem. There are problems under the problem you're trying to solve, right? And this has been such a learning experience for me. I've gone on to build so many features on the basis of some of these problems, like how people can renew their subscription to something like a gym without really having to do anything. And I'll talk about this in the next video.